Hey everybody, it is I. It is so freaking hot on the East Coast, y'all. It is crazy hot. I mean, in my 42 years, this sun is just weird, okay? It is so freaking bright that even in the evenings when it's going down, it's just hugely bright. To the point where you get sunburned inside your car with AC on. That is how bad the UV rays are, okay? So y'all be careful out there. Wear your sunscreen and stuff, alright? Now, first thing I want to share with you guys, and I'm not going to write it down. I'm just going to give you the ingredients and do with it what you made, doctor it up, hook it up, whatever. I'm just telling you, it's freaking delicious and it's healthy and it's good. You're going to need, well, and we made enough because there's like 4 of us eating. So tone it down to your size. You can always put the extras in the refrigerator because it tastes even better cold. You're going to need apple cider vinegar. You're going to need olive oil. You're going to need hot pepper flakes. You're going to need fresh basil, or you can use the dry basil. You're going to need fresh cilantro or dry cilantro. You're going to need a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. You can crack it. If you crack it, it'll be stronger, so you be careful how much you add. You're going to need pasta, the garden pasta, you know, the different color pasta, what do they call it? Salad pasta, what do they call it? But you're going to need, we use 2 bags, but you're going to need probably 1 if it's for 1 person. You measure it out. You know how much you need for your family. You're going to need, I got these cucumbers fresh out my garden. I got the tomatoes out my garden. I got everything except for the pasta and avocados, the apple cider vinegar, and the olive oil came out of my garden. So you're going to need cucumbers. You're going to need tomatoes. You're going to need garlic clove. And if you want to put onions in yours, that's up to you. I didn't. So basically, chop up all the vegetables into the little small cut pieces, the little cube pieces. Chop them up like that. And while your pasta's cooking, after your pasta cooks, then you're going to add, depending on how big your cap is, that's how I added mine. I just eyeballed it. You know, we've been cooking together long enough. I don't really have to measure. So you want a nice enough coating on your pasta that pasta looks a little shiny, but you don't have oil down in the bottom of the pan, if you know what I'm talking about. That's how much oil, olive oil you need to use. So pour a couple of capfuls of olive oil, stir it up, and then just make sure you just stir it up real good and keep the olive oil all over it. Then after you do that, add in your tomatoes, stir them in. Add in your spices, and add in your cucumbers. Stir all that up together. And, oh yeah, you're going to need some fresh grated cheese, or you can buy the bagged cheese. The little pieces of chunks, it's up to you how you want to do it. So you got your cucumbers, you got your tomatoes, you got your seasoning in, the pasta, your olive oil. Now you need to cut up your avocado in little cubes and work your avocado in. And after you work the avocado in, that is when you want to start adding in small batches to taste the vinegar. You don't want this pasta to be drippy wet or anything like that. You want the pasta to be a nice consistency, and it's based on the flavor. You can taste the vinegar, you can taste the olive oil, you can taste the different vegetables, you can taste the avocado, the pepper flakes. You'll be able to taste the fresh basil, the fresh cilantro or cilantro basil. And you add a little bit of salt, add it to taste. And you can sprinkle the cheese on your serving. Do not sprinkle the cheese into the whole thing. And you can put it in the fridge to chill, and it'll taste even better. The flavor will pop even more, because then you have that cold crispness of the cucumbers and everything like that. Either way, warm, room temperature, it tastes great. It's amazing. It's awesome, and it's good for you, and it's healthy. So yeah, so I'll share that recipe with you guys. You know, try it out. I'm telling you. And like I said, you added the vinegar to taste. That way it's not too overpowering. Okay, so I'll share that recipe with y'all. Now, what have I been doing in the garden? Harvesting stuff. The Brussels sprouts are actually starting to grow in between the leaves of the plants. The cucumbers, if we get some rain, I'm going to be drowning in freaking cucumbers, probably. The squash, if we get rain, the way the squash are doing, I've already cooked like 5 squash, and I got like 6 squash out the garden yesterday. I pulled up 2 of the potato plants just so I could get through. And they already had potatoes up there like that big. And they're the red potatoes, and I didn't plant red potatoes. So I told my dad it's just because the seedling potatoes we had were white potatoes. So I'm not sure why I have red potatoes, but they all ended up being red potatoes. So I don't want them to get too big. I want them to stay nice to add to roast and stuff like that. To be about that size is the perfect size. And I don't have to skin them because the red potatoes, the skin is so thin, I could just scrape the skin off with my fingernails. So I don't want to skin them. I want the skin to stay on because it'll help protect the potatoes. They'll last longer. And it'll look a lot better as far as presentation. You know, you have that color there. I picked some of the pole beans, and which are the rose gray or Italian pole beans. I haven't picked any of the giant llamas yet, but I think I'm going to have to once they look like they're full enough that I can actually shell some of them. The cabbages are doing great. Broke off a bunch of the old leaves and threw those on a mulch pile. Like the cucumbers are going to be freaking loaded. If I can get some rain, it's just going to be freaking loaded. And the tomatoes are loaded. They're not turning green. I mean, the plants are aging faster than the tomatoes are, which is weird. I've never seen this before with a plant leaf. The tomato leaves are starting to turn brown. I've checked them. There's no aphids. I haven't found any reason. But it's not just my plants. I've talked to other people who have tomatoes, and their plants are loaded with tomatoes like mine. The tomatoes aren't turning red. Like you would expect a bunch of them to be red. They all started showing up around the same time. But it's only like one to turn red here, one to turn red there, one to turn red there. It's not like a bunch of them, you know, start ripening at the same time. It's very strange. And the fact that the plants appear to be dying back early. I usually don't see leaves and stuff changing like this until around the fall when the first frost hits. Then I'll start seeing the leaves die back like that. But yeah, so that's what's going on with the garden. Really enjoying. I love freaking cucumbers. And fresh cucumbers, oh my God. Fresh out the garden, there's nothing like it. So yeah, so spinning wise, this is what I'm working on plying. All my bobbins are full. So I managed to get 1, 2, 3 bobbins free. And I'm plying the 3rd bobbin, which is, I think it was nylon mohair merino blend. It's really pretty. It has a lot of shine to it. So I'm working on 3 plying that. Now, these are the 3 that I've applied so far. Now these 2 are a combination of different bats. It has merino in it. It has Icelandic in it. It has like a little bit of bamboo. It's a hodgepodge. These came from the bat, so it has alpaca, a little bit of llama. These are hodgepodge of bats that I carded, just a bunch of different little bits and pieces of fiber in for those. This is the brown red stuff. It's some of the leftover from this one. The single and some alpaca. And then the white is the nylon merino and alpaca blend. So this one is really, really pretty. You can see a little bit of that red right there. So this one came out really nice, and it's really squishy. It's gonna be a little rougher simply because of the Icelandic, because it wasn't a de-haired Icelandic. So spinning wise, that's what's going on, and then applying, and then still spinning. Because I have followed the guys for a long time on YouTube, and it was like really, really sad when Anthony was killed in a car wreck. It was like, I don't know. I mean, these kids are younger than me, and they're trying to do something nice and positive, and Anthony was like just into everything as far as wise. You know, he just loved learning and loved teaching and loved art and drawing. And so I wanted to support the Rona project, so I had ordered the book. And I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. And it makes you want to read more. It was just a good storyline. You know, the guys, for, you know, everything that they went through, I enjoyed this book. And it's easy to read, easy to understand, and it has interesting characters, interesting lore, and character development in the book. So I look forward to any future projects that they'll do, and I'll definitely support them. So that's going on art-wise, yarn-wise. Now, my group that I'm in, it's not my group, it's just a group. I mean, it's called Yarn for Breakfast. And so they were giving away some books. We used to have like a giveaway every month where people donated stuff or made stuff, you know, for like the new knitters and who had, or just anyone. You would pull names and stuff, and each meeting you would win something. Well, we're doing away with that. Cause we're trying to cut back on any extra money things that takes money from the group as far as paying our meetup dues and stuff like that. So that's going away. So I got these two books. So I've been curious about them, but I didn't want to buy them. So they were free. Charm Knits Projects for Fans of Harry Potter, and Favorite Mittens, Traditional Mitten Patterns from Fox and Geese and Fences, Flying Geese and Partridge Feet. And I got this one. And I'll show you guys one of the page patterns. I can get it in color for you. I'm going to find a color version of the different patterns. Okay. Okay, I'll show you this one because it has like a bunch of them. So can you guys see that? Alright. So this is a good way, using a small project, you can learn how to do like the thumb mitts, fur owl, and stuff in a small format, like these little teeny baby gloves at the bottom. And then you can, like, you know, work your way up from there. So I thought this would be a good book too. So I haven't looked through them a lot, but I'm really excited about them. Oh yeah, this scarf that I'm working on for my Pay It Forward, it's almost ready to take off the crochet hook, and I just unraveled some of it. So it's almost ready. So I might need to put like another 3 inches on it, and it'll be fine. See, it'll be like, you know, like another 3 inches. It'll be good for someone to have. And so yeah, so it's almost done. I'll probably finish it tomorrow doing my lunch break, and then I'll have to figure out the next project I'm going to do. I haven't drawn anything like I wanted to, because I really feel like I need to get these Pay It Forward things done. So that's what I've been doing on my lunch break. And then like in the morning while I'm waiting to get into the bathroom when it's my turn, I've been plying. So hopefully tomorrow I have another skein to show you guys that I've finished plying. Now, I am a member of Ravelry. Many of you may be members of Ravelry as well. So if you are, you may or may not have heard of the controversy going on with Ravelry, RAvelympics, the Olympics the Olympic Committee and all that stuff. It's a very interesting read. Feel free to see what's trending on Twitter, to see what's on Facebook. The Olympic Committee has issued 2, not 1, but 2 apologies to the Ravelry group. I mean, you know, I can understand protecting copyright and trademark and all that stuff. I have no problems with that. I have a problem with people being mean and nasty for no other reason than to try to assert their superiority over another group. And when this intern did this, this person did not probably realize that you're not just insulting 3 or 4 old ladies who meet online in a little group. Ravelry has a membership of around 2.2 million. And it's a worldwide. This is a worldwide. It goes, almost every country is represented on Ravelry. Even countries that aren't in the Olympics are on Ravelry. And you have people, men, women, people from all races, background, you name it, they're there. Triathletes, you know, doctors, nurses, bus drivers, police, teachers, spinners, knitters, weavers, cross stitchers, you know, crocheters, loom knitters. I mean, whatever fiber art you could think of, felters, they are represented on Ravelry. You know, I have learned stuff since I'm not talking with it. I've learned stuff about crochet that I didn't know and never heard of after going on Ravelry. Knot binding, I never heard of until I was on Ravelry. Slip stitch crochet, Bavarian crochet. I've learned so much about crochet and different forms of crochet in forms that may be more ancient than others. Tapestry crochet, lace knitting crochet, fine knitting with not knitting, you know what I'm trying to say. Fine crafting with crochet. Beautiful, beautiful, fine lace work with crochet. And same thing with knitting. If it wasn't for Ravelry, I wouldn't know how to knit. It gave me the courage to take a class to go learn how to knit. I've been wanting to learn a long time. And it took me being on Ravelry and that encouragement from other people to finally go and take a class and learn how to knit. Spinning. After I learned, I went on Ravelry to see if there's a community, and there's dozens of communities of spinners. Weaving. I'm trying to get into weaving to use up some of that yarn I spin. And it's just amazing. And people are very helpful. They're not condescending. They're not, you know, oh, well, you know, if you're really, you know, it's a wonderful, wonderful multicultural group of people. You can make friends, pen pals in other countries. You can do exchanges and swaps with people in other countries for particular fiber or something like that that's not found in your country. Lots of things you can do through this medium of Ravelry. Now, Ravelry is a business, and it's a business that requires advertising dollars and sales from patterns to stay afloat, to provide these wonderful services. We understand that. We understand that. What we don't understand as crafters, as people, is why you had to make it personal. If you'd have left it in the business arena and had not researched enough to then insult us, insult crafters, nothing would ever come of it. It'd have been just another business warning, cease and desist, be on your way, don't use our stuff, don't use our stuff. And no one was using the Olympic symbols, no one was using the Olympic name, no one was using anything to do with the athletes. We weren't selling stuff, and it just blown, slapped out of proportion, so to speak. And my thing is this, you know, as far as business and stuff is concerned, I don't understand how the United States government, unless there's some treaty in place, and there probably is, but how can the United States government give any entity that much legal right over a word, a name that was invented in ancient Greece that is based off of a place in ancient Greece where the Olympics were held at, based off a combination of if I remember right, the Parthians and the Olympians, and then the Olympics were held by Olympia. So how can you give someone here in the United States, which wasn't even a twinkle in their mama's eye, that much control over a word that was around, and a word that denigrated these athletes who, way before there was ever Columbus, much less a new world, a United States. I don't understand how that can even happen. There has to be some type of fair use laws and stuff, because it is not an American word. It is a Greek word, and it's not an American word. So, you know, pot calling the kettle black, to me, there should be a fair use, because I think the description they have, the definition is too broad, in my honest opinion, and any derivative thereof. That's like saying somebody take my name and decide they're gonna start a chain of restaurants named Juanita, and then they come and tell me that I can't use the domain name JuanitaMechanics.com because I'm infringing on their trademark word Juanita. Sorry, but this is the name that I was given when I was born, and I was using it any way I see fit. You know, so you're telling people that they can't name their child Olympia. So there's a lot of little girls running around in many countries named Olympia. So you mean to tell me that these people's children got to change their names? That's what I'm talking about. It's stupid. In relation to games and the Olympics, I can understand that. But they're not participating in sports or anything. They're supporting the Olympics. They're actually going to sit and watch the Olympics while they work on their projects the challenge that they've given themselves personally to complete. From the opening ceremony to the closing ceremony, that's the time you have to complete that goal that you set for yourself while you support and cheer on your team. So that's potentially 2.2 million viewers and billions of potential donation dollars that you just said kiss my ass to. So yeah, I've been fired up about that for the last 2 days. Because there's a right way and there's a wrong way to do stuff. And if the left hand don't know what the right hand is doing, trouble gonna happen in between. And that's exactly what happened. Alright, so that's enough of that. Okay. Book-wise, this was also one of the books recommended by one of my friends, and it's called Draw Anything. And so basically this book takes you from point A to point B. It's like a coloring book, outlines, but you're not coloring, you're learning how to do the outlines. And then after you do the outlines, then you go in and you start learning how to shade those objects to make them more realistic for a character, or however you want to do it. Just different things. You got the abdomen, acorns, acrobats, actions, you know, and it just teaches you all these different little tricks. I'll show you guys in a second. Yes, I'm yawning. Now, y'all know something would be wrong if I wasn't yawning on the video. Y'all say, oh my God, it's not her. It's a clone. It's the pie people. The apocalypse is about to begin. Okay, so. Alright, come on now. Give me one to go. Okay. So you have this one up here. This B. Alright. See how you start out with the outline B? Then you put in a little more detail. And you just do that for different, you know, shapes. You can even go out in your yard and take pictures of bees. So it gives you different shapes of bugs and stuff. You practice drawing and then practice shading them. Bears, you know, dogs. It just gives you a lot of the basics. Just, you know, practicing the shapes and stuff. And it helps you learn. It helps you learn control too. So yeah, so I really like this book. I like it a lot. Alright, so I shared that book with you guys. And that's it for me for tonight. I am going to BED. It's 11:30. Tomorrow's Friday. I got work. Please don't let it be stressful. No stress, no stress, no stress. And I'm itching from being out the garden, so I'm gonna go take a little quick bath. Oh, God, it's from the cucumber plants and the squash plants. Like, people don't realize it, but squash plants, the back of squash plants, they got a lot of little spikes on them. And they touch and drag on your skin, they irritate your skin. Same thing with cucumbers. They release little oozy gels and stuff. And, yeah, you know, my water on my arm. I got a bruise, too, from wrestling with my husband. Where is it? There it is. See that? From wrestling. I told him, I said, you must forget. Your marks show. Don't have no fool thinking that you be beating on me when it's the other way around. But it's all in good fun. Wrestling is all in good fun. It's a lot of fun. These other things. So, remember that, old married couples. There's nothing wrong with having fun in your relationship.